that might be part of it. I think Will is a respected member of this team. And a great move by Paul Millsap.
Wow. Bench tonight. Porter's got 9 points. Porter's still going. And he hits. So the Nuggets are cooking. Murray with a step back. Got it. And of course a rematch with the Clippers, and then we're going to have to find out if James Harden will still be on the team at that point. Hartenstein has it, sets a Campasso for 3, and he nails it. With 8 points, he's made 3 of 11 shots. Jokic down the lane, and he puts it away with authority.
This was a cup dunk. Watch.
Look at this. And he is leaping up there. That's for all the fans in Serbia who are watching right now. We want to say hello.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Winners Lounge.
Lasers, Eagles, no vote, man. What's going on?
Yeah,
here?
what is going on here? Instead, you know what, though? It doesn't matter. It's just like the Denver Nuggets. One man goes down, another wave through.
Look at this wall of bottoms of shoes you guys have created. It's like,
oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, it's very comfortable. Do we look comfortable?
I would say that you look maybe too comfortable.
I am perfectly comfortable, and I'm telling you, the reason I'm most comfortable is because our Denver Nuggets now, back-to-back, let's be honest, ass whoopings on the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, these were laughers from the get-go. We're going to walk you through everything. I'm Adam Matas. I'm joined by Dev, Superstar Dev.
I mean, what could you say about tonight? The entire night, it was a beating from start to finish for another game straight. It feels like they're undefeated in the preseason, and
it does feel like they're undefeated.
And they're rolling.
It does feel like it.
Yeah, it feels like, and they're rolling into the regular season on a high note. Like,
I might
how could you be down?
I might go as far as to say it feels like they won the preseason championship. I don't know.
I think it feels like they won the NBA championship. I don't even care.
It kind of does. And then, of course, over here, it's D-Line Co. You know him as D-Line.
Guys, what about those Denver Nuggets? What do you think?
Man, that was fun. I'm equal parts glad that the preseason is now over because I'm ready for these games to actually matter. But I'll be honest, man, I'm also equally sad that it's over because
I know
the Nuggets' third string is like as fun as a third string can possibly be. I'm gonna miss these dudes.
Like, just to know, in a blowout, you're still like stuck on the TV screen. That's because this team is just so deep and there's so many storylines and there's so many things to watch, even in a blowout. Because if I'm at home and I'm watching any other team and they're up 30, I'm just like, what else is on TV? See the Nuggets team and you're invested in this team. It's like, okay, I have to see what happens. Who's about to come in next? Who's going to keep on hitting shots? It's amazing.
And that's going to be, I think, all season. Like, I don't know how many 20-point blowouts the Nuggets are going to have, although I kind of have a feeling they might have some.
Are you insinuating there'll be more 30-point blowouts?
They might be 30-point blowouts. But what I'm saying is the Nuggets have a phenomenal victory cigar lineup. Usually a victory cigar lineup's like one dude, and you're like, all right, let's put in that guy, Thomas Welsh. It's time. Now, like at the start of the season, at least it looks like Bol will be the third string, so he's in there. Zeke Naji will be in there, who I just like every second he's on the court, I'm watching him because I just like his game. RJ Hampton, same thing. He was extremely exciting and interesting, I thought, tonight. So the Nuggets have guys, and then that's before you get to Marcus Howard. It's like their third string is super, super entertaining, and I really, we got to pour one out for them, man.
Yo, I don't even know where the second string stops, the third string begins.
It's true.
The fourth string stops. All I know
is fourth string. Wow.
All I know is that literally any player that you put in, I'm like, oh, sweet, this guy, and then that guy does something awesome. Like it just doesn't matter who it is.
It was great. So we're gonna walk through everything. We're gonna go through some highlights today. We're gonna go through all the players. We're gonna talk, of course, the question everybody. It's funny. Tonight went as well as you could have hoped for, given how it started with Michael Porter being moved to the bench. That's a huge storyline. We're not going to dust that under the fridge.
We're not going
to dust it under the fridge.
We're not going to treat it like ice under the fridge.
Yeah, it's not water under the fridge for us. But we're going to get to it. But, it would have been annoying if that move would have happened and the Nuggets came out and fell flat. What happened was the Nuggets made that move, and it looked exactly the same as it did when they didn't do it. Almost to the point where you can make an argument and say, well, almost doesn't really matter. This team is so good, so many talented players, you can get to this interchangeable part. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I'm going to start, as I always do, by asking you guys, what your biggest takeaway is. Storyline number one. Maybe it is that, but Dev, to you, what was storyline number one from this game?
I don't know how you go away from that. Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody.
What's going on with your microphone, by the way? Like, Kale just came over and lowered it, and somehow it's like keeps like just fine.
It's just right.
You might not be able to get to do the foot.
Here's what you have to remember is that normally Vote is in that seat, so
That's true.
You have to account for a 7'6" person.
I never felt like I was.
Wow, look at it.
It's trying to take me.
Kale, you might have to break the fourth wall and just come and save him, man.
You might have to break the.
While you're doing
stand.
that, actually, I'm going to go over here to
All right.
D-Line. So, D-Line, what's your biggest takeaway from this game?
I mean, the biggest takeaway is that legitimately, it's the same as last time. Like, everybody on the Nuggets is good. Like, every player, it feels like Michael Malone just can close his eyes and just point at guys to come in, and somehow the chemistry doesn't drop off at all. Like, everybody's hitting shots. But really, truly, it seems like, who knows? Again, this is preseason. Maybe people are playing a little looser than normal, but the 3-point shots are on the up.
Man.
Paul Millsap is our best scorer somehow.
So this is everything. You just want to touch every single storyline in your section here, your segment.
Oh, I thought of some other things I wanted to talk about.
Okay, is there some other stuff? What was also the big takeaway?
The other big takeaway is Ignaghi's good. Everyone's good.
In the comment section, I'm checking these out as we go through. I want to know what everybody thinks because there's so many storylines from here. I want to know what people think is the storyline so far. To me, to me, this is what I would say the biggest storyline is. When we talk about the we don't skip steps Nuggets building on this roster, it seems like second unit, and this includes Michael Porter, by the way, who was in the second unit tonight. It felt like everybody was comfortable in their role, and everybody was just like, it didn't feel like a first unit, a second unit, a third unit. It looked like guys that were all playing the same style of basketball. And 50, how many guys played tonight? 16. Marcus Howard barely at the end. So everybody but Greg Whittington, who we still don't know like anything about. But it felt like no matter what unit was out there, they were all playing this very serious brand of defense.
Yes.
Very unselfish brand of offense and very high IQ brand. And to me, that's what's so encouraging is I think you get a sense. Preseason doesn't mean much. The things that I think do make sense are, can you sense the vibe? Can you sense the commitment, the cohesion? And both games, these last two, the Nuggets look dialed in. They look dialed in from top to bottom.
I was going to say that as far as my takeaways is just the comfort level. Even Jamal Murray, he doesn't have a big game or anything like that. He doesn't go out and do too much. But it's just like, it's still a good game for him just because it's like, okay, this is what I do. It seems like he's a vet now at this time. Nikola Jokic is not out there trying to do everything. It doesn't appear like the people are overdoing anything. Like when you look at all the contenders, you see all these big names and you're just like, oh, he did that, and then they set him for the rest of the game. And then that's what they're starting to get for the Nuggets. They're sitting their stars for the second half because they're up by so much. It's so comfortable for them. The backups is who you want to see in the preseason anyway. It's just kind of like having a summer league since we didn't get a summer league.
Right.
So now you have your second unit, you have your third unit. And to his point, a fourth unit. You have guys that we will never see, and we got to see them. That's fun, and that's what you want to see because it's about to be the real season, and we're not going to see those guys soon.
The word culture gets thrown around so much with different teams, and I think in Denver, you have to build culture over years. Yep. I really don't think it comes all at once. At least for 99% of teams, it's something that gets established and built over time. And I think that's what you're kind of referencing here is you get a new wave of players. The last year's wave of players, which is like Michael Porter Jr., he's still like developing and buying into that culture and this or that. But it seems like everybody comes in and it's like, hey, this is how we do things. And people are kind of getting into it. Tonight, 30 assists, which is disappointing. Last game, it was 39. So, but here's what's
I know. Are the Nuggets too selfish?
The Phoenix Suns, I'm surprised by that. I didn't know it was Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns led the NBA last year at 27 assists. The Nuggets go for 39 last game, 30 this game. Like, the ball is popping. And I see that in the comments. I ask people what the biggest storyline is, and I get a lot of the ball is popping. And look, man, we thought this when we looked at the roster and how it was constructed. We said, this is a lineup with a lot of playmakers. There's a chance to really get it popping. We're 3 games into preseason. I'm telling you, I think the ball's going to be popping this year. I just think that's going to be a trait of this Nuggets team.
It's truly unbelievable. And so again, it's not just all predicated on Nikola Jokic just making it pop.
Right.
This has come every single unit that went in there playing very unselfish basketball, finding the open shot. The only players that kind of forced it every now and again were MPJ, and he was hitting them. Bol, and he was hitting them. really everybody else, like you expected RJ Hampton to come in and just start jacking up shots, but he was still looking for the.
This is what I mean is he even looks like meaningful progress, like he's trying out a role. You know, I know maybe we're reading into that specific thing a little too much because we have only seen him a little bit, but even he looks to me like a guy that is not learning how to play RJ Hampton basketball,
Right.
a guy that's learning how to play, Denver Nuggets basketball.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that this was clearly a preseason game, but it was only a preseason game in that the Portland Trailblazers refused to play basketball. The Nuggets were still playing the right way the entire time. It didn't just get to where whoever had the ball was going to immediately chuck a three. You just knew that was going to be the case. Like they were still passing, looking for the right play. I mean, it's what we've talked about, the culture, as you say. Like when you get onto the San Antonio Spurs as a player, like you just know that there's a certain way to play. Like, is that true for the Denver Nuggets? Do we have like that, like carved out, intentional level of play? Like it's on the table.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible game, man. There's so many things to get to. We're going to start now talking about some of these players. And where else could we start but with our dad? But Paul Millsap tonight,
Our
man.
dad.
Well,
Dev's made it clear. Paul Millsap is, just so it's clear, Paul Millsap not actually Dev's dad.
Joking that
not-
he's like, people
not-
know it's not your dad. Make sure they know it's not my dad too. Not our real dad.
This is not nepotism.
Paul Millsap tonight, 9 of 13, 24 points, a plus 18 in 15 minutes, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block, 0 turnovers. Like, just about a perfect game.
And exactly, like every shot he hit, we all just started laughing every time.
He looked like he'd turned back the clock. He looked fantastic. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if we can read too much into Paul Millsap. Like, he gets hot sometimes and he scores, and tonight might have just been one of those nights. But I will say, man, we were worried about the steep drop-off, which still could happen over the course of 72. But, man, at least tonight he looks fresh. He looks exactly like he did 2-3 seasons ago.
And I made the joke about it is like, he's so hot, just take him out of the game and just wait for the whole season. Like,
Yeah.
wait
Don't
for the
waste it.
real season
Don't waste
because
it.
he's so high, so hot right now. Like, he's one of the reasons that the ball is popping. They get him going
Yep.
so early, and it's nothing about it is forced. It's actually like him just cutting, and somehow he's just open. Like today, I think might have been the first time in Paul Millsap's career that he didn't just like do a pump fake to get the guy on him, and then he goes up and gets an easy foul. Like he really was just like in the flow of the offense, and it comes to him, and it just seems like Jokic and Jamal and so many players are trying to find him. It seems like Millsap is always open. It's not that he's faster than anyone or anything like that. He just knows exactly where to be, and then the guys find him.
Yeah, some of this is, I think, Portland, and we have to be honest here, guys. Portland might suck, man, and I'm just putting it out there. They didn't have Lillard tonight, but it didn't matter. They looked exactly like they did when they did have Lillard 2 nights ago. But they might defensively, they just might be really bad. And I don't know. Maybe Denver's just that good offensively. But what I meant to bring that up was the Nuggets, and I think Murray and Jokic in particular, command so much attention. Whether you have Michael Porter or Will Barton out there to command so much attention. And then you got Gary Harris and Paul Millsap, and I just think they're going to be open. And tonight, Millsap was like, why would anybody leave him open? He's not a guy you leave open.
Yeah, it is crazy. I love that Paul Millsap is. I mean, what is he shooting? 120% on the season from 3-point land. Like, I mean, we were talking about that in the season preview that somehow Paul Millsap inexplicably has like a very high 3-point percentage, and it only somehow is getting better. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He was fantastic tonight. It's funny if you go down the list here. I mean, I thought Jokic was fantastic tonight, and I guess we have to get to him. But listen to the stat line. Was this Jokic's dream? First of all, 0 turnovers. Plays 17 minutes, right under 17 minutes, gets 4 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, goes 2 of 3. 2 of 3. Jokic would love to take 3 shots a game, man. That's his dream. And
one of them.
And it's funny because if I told you that stat line 4, 5, 6, 2, and 1, you'd be like, all right, that's okay, whatever. He just looks so good, man. I'm telling you, the eye of the Joker. He's going for it this year.
It's a little uncomfortable. Like is he too locked in?
I actually sent this to a friend today. The Nuggets put a picture on Instagram of him because the GM survey came out and they put out a picture that said something like, top center or something like that. And I was looking at him, I'm like, he almost looks like unhealthy. And he is. I'm not saying that, but he looks so skinny, so much skinnier than we thought. You ever had a friend that lost so much weight that you're like, yo, you didn't need to lose that much?
Yeah.
That's what he looks like. But clearly it's working for him because he looks spry. And he had I never thought I would say this. He had the dunk of the night
Dunk of the year.
Well,
years early, but
That was the highest he's ever got. He's never got that high.
easily the best dunk he's ever had.
And it's not close.
What do we got here?
Just talk about
about the dunk, nerd. Don't even know.
Did we mention our beloved Brendan Vogt on vacation? We don't have him here tonight, but he's here in spirit and in the chat.
Yeah, he's in Jersey. You can just go ahead and say it. He's in Jersey.
I didn't want to dox him. I don't want people to know that he's like.
I don't know if you go to Jersey for vacation. Is all I'm saying. But, yeah, man, that dunk. I'm telling you, I heard a rumor, and I think maybe I didn't hear this like an inside. I think Tim Conley said this on Altitude Radio or something. Jokic caught a lob, and we had a conversation about this. I don't know if you remember. We had this conversation in the playoffs where I said I don't think Jokic will ever catch a lob in his life, and practice doesn't count. I think he's going to catch a lob this season. I honestly think there'll be a moment where he's so fast. Look at this thing. Oh, we're seeing it on the highlights. Oh, yeah. I don't know. What do you think about the way he looks physically and just the pep in his step?
First off, who would be that brave to throw him that? Like, whoever throws him the lob, that's the person who's perfect. Jamal would have to make a perfect pass for Jokic to get it. But no, really.
He might throw it to himself.
Jokic looks great. He's running up the court full speed. He's going, he's sealing guys down, he's setting screens, and he's moving, he's spry. Yeah. That coming down the lane, I didn't even think that was him. When he actually dunked it, I'm like, Hartenstein again. Like, I thought it was him. But to everyone's point, Jokic just looks so dialed in and so different this year that it was amazing to see him come in and get a dunk. And he didn't celebrate or anything like that. It was like, this is what I am now.
this is me. like he's been doing it all off season or something.
And everyone on the bench just jumps up. They're going insane. They're going nuts because that's not what we've seen.
We were going nuts too.
I too.
Yeah, I had to get D-line off the floor.
The ceiling.
I did as I'm watching. As I see a highlight come across, I am reminded that Derek Jones Jr. did have an actually more impressive dunk.
Yeah,
so,
but he hurt himself.
He got up so high that it hurt to come down from.
He literally hurt himself via dunk.
Jokic had the second best dunk of the game, and that's still a coup for him. What do you make of
Jokic in the weight room right now after the game per the man with the wind in his hair?
Oh, wow. The man with the wind in his hair getting I'm telling you, this is the new Jokic. He works out after every game. He's probably doing squats. He's probably doing box jumps. He's trying to get that vert up.
Yeah, he really didn't get much run on the floor tonight. So
that's
he's
true.
Probably like, I got to get my fitness in. Man.
He had such an easy matchup, too. I mean, I think Nurk was guarding him.
Oh, my God. Do we have that photo from Nurk from last game, Kale?
What do you make – Eric, I want to ask you, though, what you make of Jokic right now. I mean, we're done.
Oh, God, that feels good to look at.
So, what do you make of Jokic, man? Like, we've seen him now in 3 preseason games. I think all 3 have been bangers from him.
I mean, we came in, we did our bold predictions. All of us we're kind of toying with the idea of Jokic flirting with the MVP.
I might move him up the ranking.
No, I mean, I haven't seen one thing that makes me want to knock any part of that take down. Like, I think, the stonk is only going up. Nikola Jokic looks like he has just ascended to a new level where the ceiling is now the floor. Like he's moved up.
What?
His previous ceiling?
The ceiling is the floor. I actually do. You know what? I like that. Yeah, I think you're right. I wanted to make fun of it.
I know. I like that your first instinct is to be like,
it was.
How can I embarrass Eric? But the ceiling is the floor. Let's go.
Oh, man. I guess we should take our first break here. Harrison right now is talking with Michael Malone, as we know. He's probably waiting for Jokic, who's got a full workout to get in. But he's going to come and share with us everything that he heard. But we'll hit the break here. We're going to continue talking about players. There's so many players to get through. We're going to have to actually speed this up. But first, guys, I have to tell you about our brand new sponsor. I'm so excited for this.
Me too,
in large part because whenever we get a new sponsor, I don't know if I get sent a package of things to sample.
Yep.
And this first one, Hassel Cattle Company. Okay, boutique cattle company. They send you meats. They send me steak. They sent me hamburger. They sent me bacon. They got me sausages. Unbelievable.
Wait a minute. I've not gotten this package.
Yeah,
Lindsay.
Well,
Lindsay. What's
so
going
I'm telling you guys, you want to check this out. Everything's about subscriptions these days. We say subscribe to DNVR. You subscribe to a gym. You subscribe to Strava. Now you subscribe to Hassel Cattle Company. They'll send you meat straight to your door. And I'm telling you right now, damn good. Hassel Cattle Company is the absolute best source for farm-to-table. How do you pronounce this? Wagyu beef? You have to help culture me. I'm not a culture guy. Wagyu, yeah. Because there's a Y.
I love that you asked me and then you pronounced it the way you wanted to.
Is that not? Did I say it wrong?
Wagyu.
It's Wagyu.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have to hit it that hard.
I don't think you have to Wagyu.
But they call it blue collar Wagyu.
They do call it blue collar Wagyu because it sounds like it's so fancy you'll never be able to afford it. It tastes like it's so fancy, but I'm telling you, it's fantastic. And it comes straight to your door. They got smoked sausage, New York strip, beef bacon. That's what I got. It was fantastic. Jerky, everything else. So here's what you want to do. Go to HassellCattleCompany.com. We throw this up on the screen so they see the spelling HASSELL, CattleCompany.com, and use promo code DNVR for 10% off your order. That's DNVR10 for 10% off. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I want these guys to be like, I'm selfish. I want them to be our partner for a really long time. So I keep getting these guys.
As soon as the bar opens again.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start serving their meat.
We'll start serving it. I mean, if
you come in and get a steak, it's gonna be the best steak.
Have you ever
ever
had Wagyu beef before?
I don't know.
Do you know the
Probably not.
Do you know the difference between Wagyu?
Can you help me out?
Yes, it's the marbling. It's the marbling.
Oh, I love marbling.
Yeah, it ends up being. I mean, there's a lot more. Like small little veins of fat that run through. It ends.
That's
up
what makes it taste good.
It's what makes. Dude, people are weird about the idea of eating fat when it comes to steak. That's where the flavor lives, dude. Wagyu beef. Dude, it's
great. Also, there it is, Hassell Cattle Company. Also want to tell you about Green Mountain Dental. We've had several listeners kind of reach out to us and tell us, hey, we switched our dentist. And they're the best dentist. Why? Because they're local. They're diehard Denver sports fans, DNVR fans. They're just like you. You go into the dentist, you want to know somebody that you get along with. Sit there and talk nugs while they poke around at your teeth. And I'm telling you guys right now, dental health, it's the thing. You become an adult, you just got to start going to the dentist regularly. It's like a mark of an adult.
Yeah, you should, maybe even before you become an adult, go to the dentist.
You definitely should before, but I did not.
You can make it part of your routine as just a human of all ages.
With Green Mountain Dental, they got that awesome thing. You schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam. You receive a free Sonicare toothbrush, so check them out, Green Mountain Dental. All right, moving this thing along, guys. Will Barton, so he's in the starting lineup. I thought he was sneaky great tonight. And I mean that. So it's funny because, first of all, I want to nip. I guess we can go right into this now because it's a major talking point, but we can nip this in the bud. I saw some people saying, why would the team acquiesce to Will Barton? He wanted to be in the starting lineup and the team acquiesced. Guys, he earned it. And I don't know if he's going to be there long term or not, but to say that he doesn't belong in the starting lineup, he's clearly, in my opinion, one of the 5 best players in this team. Yeah. And he's good at a position that I think the team could use, whether that's small forward or shooting guard. I think it's shooting guard, but whatever. He works there. And tonight, I think a lot of people think, I always hear, oh, he's a chucker, he does this or that. Will Barton goes 1 of 4 tonight. He plays 20 minutes, which is like the 3rd most of anybody. He takes 4 shots, which is the 2nd fewest of anybody at play this game. The only person that took fewer shots than him was Jamal Murray. He gets 4 assists, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. Will Barton to me is a chameleon.
Yeah,
you can put him into any lineup, and he can adjust his game accordingly. Now, sometimes he does get a little gun heavy, not shy, the opposite of shy. Yeah. A little aggressive. He's a little aggressive, okay? But that's in his game. But I don't think it's so much that it's even noteworthy. I think more often than not, he knows how to play. He knows Jokic. He knows Murray. He knows all these guys, and he just vibes with them. What did you see from him tonight?
I mean, exactly what you're talking about. That it is funny that when we first arrived, we were all sort of nervously laughing about the fact that through that quote in the media, Will Barton had somehow supplanted MPJ in the starting lineup. And we were already like, oh no, is this going to be an issue that we're going to be dealing with all year? And then the Nuggets played as well as they played last game, if not better. They scored somehow 3 more points, and the Blazers scored only 1 more point. I mean, obviously, again, it's tough to pull anything from that Blazers performance just because they were completely checked out. They just didn't even look like they belonged on the floor. But the Nuggets were just making shots, facilitating shots, like we were talking about. They're just playing the right way. Barton was playing the right way when he was playing with the starters. Barton was playing the right way when he was playing with the backups. Every combination of players that were on the floor tonight looked like they worked together in a seamless fashion. So.
That's exactly what it is. All the units just popped tonight. And it's funny because Barton went to the bench last game, and I was like, man, he looks so good with the bench. Then he comes to the starters, man, he looks so good with the starters. Maybe he's just good.
He's just good, right?
And the whole team's good. What did you see out of him?
With Will Barton, that shocks me with everyone being so upset about it. It's Will Barton. It's not some guy that's just at the end of the bench. This is a player that was a starter. He was in the starting lineup for the whole year. Then he gets hurt, and that's the only reason that we don't see him in the starting lineup. If he was still healthy last year, he would have been a starter all year. He would have came back in this year, and everybody would have expected for him to be a starter.
Barton has like the strangest relationship with the online community. Like
it's kind of like a "What have you done for me lately?" type of vibe with him, because Barton has been great. He's coming off of one of his best years, maybe his best year. He fits. That's the thing. Malone said it before the game about the fit, and really Barton fits with that starters. Tonight he goes out and he really he play makes, and you need that type of play, especially when Millsap is getting himself going. We don't say that often. With Nikola Jokic also being in and Jamal Murray being passive, you have 4 guys that are being passive, and then you have Millsap that's scoring tonight. So Barton is like you said, he's a chameleon. He's a basketball player that you could put in any situation, and you're going to get the best out of it. He goes to the bench. He looks great. He starts. Yeah. He looks great because he plays he does exactly what you're expecting of him. And he also, you put him in a spot that he's going to take a lot of shots. Of course, that's what he wants to do. But then he goes out tonight and he doesn't try to take a lot of shots. He's doing all of the small things.
Yeah.
Barton can come off the bench. He could start. Why upset him?
Yeah, it would take it's going to take like some serious mental gymnastics to find something to be upset about with this Denver Nuggets team after these last 2 games. I mean, like, what could you possibly point at? They held them under 100 points both games. Yeah. They scored at an absurd clip both games. Their 3-point shots were like ridiculously wet both games, and that's not just like one guy going off. That's anybody who found themselves. Monte couldn't stop hitting 3-pointers.
He can't. Monte, man, he does get. We did a terrible segment now a couple of years ago, like where we were like, Monte's really good, but can he get better? And then he's just gotten like way better. Like turns out he's an elite 3-point shooter.
Dozier, like dude.
So, but another thing that Barton did tonight that impressed me, looked healthy. And this was the big question for me. This is now 2 games in a row where not once did I watch him and go, he's not quite there. Like he might not quite be there. I don't know. I don't want to put this out there that he is now 100%. I have no idea what he's feeling, and the fact that he sat out so much of camp makes me think that maybe he's not 100%. But you know what? I didn't notice it watching him.
He looks smooth. He looks like himself.
Yeah.
He's still setting guys up. He's still making his cuts. He's not taking so many isolation baskets, so we don't know how he actually looks. But again, maybe that's better for him because he really does fit with whatever unit he's with. Like now it looks like the game is slowing down a bit for him. He looks way more smooth to me.
Yeah. So now we talk about the controversy because Michael Porter's in the starting lineup. I think that the team's best form has Michael Porter perfectly integrated into the starting lineup because I think he's not, I don't know that he's a better player than Will Barton right now. In fact, I'm almost certain that he is not. He maybe more talented, but just, Michael Porter has a lot to learn. Comes off the bench, though, and he's very effective in that role. In fact, tonight was his best preseason game, I would say. His most effective one. He goes for, I believe, 20 points in 22 minutes, goes 6 of 12, including, this is delicious, 4 of 9 from 3.
What are these stats?
The stats are ridiculous.
What is this?
I just gloss over the fact that Michael Porter made 4 threes tonight, 4 of 9. Like that's an incredible.
We're like, I don't know. He's not really hitting
Michael Porter, by the way, plus 21 tonight, 22 minutes. He gets 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 3 fouls. So just filled up the entire stat sheet. Did get to the line for 5 free throws, but. Here's the thing that's most important to me. And look, I'm nervous about Michael Porter coming off the bench because I think Denver needs to have Michael Porter be a piece of the team. And guys that talented coming off the bench, it's tough. But I'll say he was engaged tonight. And I was watching him as much as I was watching the Nuggets tonight when they came out on the court. And he was off the bench. He was cheering. He was doing he was at least demonstrating all the good things. So,
God, he was incredible.
Fan base freaked out here, D-Line. Do they need to calm themselves? Is it legitimate?
No, I think they'd be more and more freaked out. Like, nothing's going to go right. Definitely sound the alarm. No, listen.
I should have gone to Dev.
He's shot 50% from the field, shot over 50%. Just around 40. I can't do that.
45%.
45% from 3, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, 20 points, plus 21.
Does this have legs, though? Is this a thing that if they do this, they go into the season next week and he's off the bench? Is he a happy camper?
I'm not sure. We talked about culture. He didn't pout at all this year.
Yeah.
He has not pouted. He came off of the bench after starting in the first 2 games. And it didn't do anything. He came out and he played his game. He still looks locked in. He's still making extra passes. We talked about all those stats. They didn't even give him the block, the SWAT that we've seen. He's starting to play defense. He's shooting the hell
Why
out of
did
the
they not
board
give
today.
him that block?
Who knows?
That was a block. That was a very
It was a
loud
swat.
block.
Everybody
That was a
remembers
swat.
the block, but
Huh.
those he's committed.
Take a
He's
freaking look
bought
at
in.
this.
He's making shots. He's scoring, and he's also staying aggressive. He had 12 shots today. We know that Michael Porter Jr. is going to shoot the ball, and it's amazing. You're going to need that. We all talk about the Nuggets at their best form is going to be with Michael Porter Jr. being himself, and that's being a scorer, that's being a shooter, no matter if he comes off the bench or not. He's a guy that can get buckets going, and it's easy to score. He also just has so much gravity. You have to just find Michael Porter Jr. at any time. So it doesn't matter where he comes. But I think that with the culture, with how it is right now, and everybody's being happy, he's going to play starter minutes regardless. So no one should be upset about it.
I wonder, he had such an interesting quote going into the bubble where he said, going into the seeding round, I think it was after his 37-point game where he said, I'm ready to not just be one of the guys, but one of the reasons we win, right? And I liked the quote because it was like, I think it came from a good place. As much as Michael Porter has a way of saying the wrong thing, but I think he doesn't mean it.
Right,
you know,
right,
he just, when he said like Jokic is learning how to play with me, like he's really saying we're learning how to play with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he came in and said that, and as we analyze now with the benefit of hindsight about how the bubble went and how the team had to basically bench him to get back on track, and he even talked about that when he in the media day or media week where he said like, yeah, man, I deserve to be benched. Like he took ownership of it and this or that. I wonder if there's a little bit of a sense with him that he has to do something. Like, I'm in the starting lineup now. They want me to do something. Really, what this Nuggets team is predicated on as constructed, and I think going forward, as long as they have Jokic, is that you have a system and the ball just finds guys. Tonight it was Paul Millsap. Like tonight, the ball just found Paul Millsap.
It was last time. Paul Millsap might just be our best scorer.
But it's going to find guys. Like tonight, the ball didn't find Will Barton. He goes into the starting lineup. He scores 3 points. And it's like nobody cared. Everybody were talking about how good he was. And I wonder if, Michael Porter goes to the bench tonight. He gets 20 points. And the ball found him. And I wonder if he's just like, this is what it is. Like, I don't know that he's going to have this revelation. Because, again, there's money and there's everything else that comes in it. But if the Nuggets have successfully built the culture around him and are in his ear about, hey man, like we think you're a superstar, whether you score 20 points a game this year or 5 points a game, we think that's you, but this year is about you learning the system, and we're gonna, there's layers to this. Once you learn that and the ball finds you, then we start to make the ball find you a little bit more. I just think that's his progression, and tonight I think he did that happened for him, and I wonder if that's a little bit of a light bulb that just needs to go on with him.
I think that Michael Porter Jr. is a player of expectation. There's so many expectations for him.
Yeah.
He has to score. This is what he's done his whole career. He's been a phenom. He was one of the top players in high school. He comes in the league and everybody's like fixated on him. And with that expectation, you have a lot of letdown. This could have been a game that was like a lesson for him. Like Malone should try to use this time to like, hey, your two best players did not score a lot today. They didn't do a lot today, and everybody still thinks that we had a good game. Look at the score. We still blew everybody out. This is a time that you could also try to read and say, hey, you had a good game today. Sometimes it's not going to go your way. You have to do these other things. Tonight, Jokic didn't score a lot, but he did these things well. Jamal didn't score a lot, but he did these things well.
That's exactly it. Like, this is what's funny about it. We talk about the ball finding you. Tonight, Jamal Murray, 8 points. Jokic, 4 points. Barton, 3 points. All of them get an A. Vote if you're watching this. They all get A's today. They were great, okay?
Nothing but tens.
Yeah, nothing but tens. And that really is like the sign of a healthy team. I've always said that the Nuggets their best bet is to be the 2014 Spurs. Sometimes Diaw was the MVP. Sometimes Duncan was. Sometimes Patty Mills. They had this system in place, and it's like you guys pick the defense, pick the poison. You pick that one. All right, we're going over here tonight. Barton's going for 30. You pick over here. Okay, Gary Harris, whatever. So. But here's where I want to go next. So Michael Porter tonight, I think, has a very good game. Even though he's coming off the bench, he does get a lot of minutes. But it felt a little bit like it was a two-headed monster off the bench. I felt like the Nuggets' first core, we talk about the Russian dolls, of course. The first core was the starting unit.
Sure.
The second core, you start to get Michael Porter Jr. and Bol and Isaiah Hartenstein. And you put three... Basically,
how many heads does this monster have?
Yeah, basically, you put 3 7-footers on the court, 2 of which are complete and total unicorns, and then Hartenstein, who's impressed us all. But let's just talk about this. Bol, I think, sadly, is out the rotation. JaMychal Green didn't play tonight. But boy, did I enjoy seeing Michael Porter and Bol Bol. And it felt to me like
fan fiction.
It felt to me like for all of both of their flaws, they're just so damn talented that it doesn't matter.
Yo, between the two of them, they scored 36 points and were plus, 43.
Bol Bol goes for 16 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover. He only shoots 4 of 12, so he kind of had an off shooting night. But I don't know. What did you see from him tonight? This was our best look at him.
So yeah, we saw a little of everything from Bol Bol, right? Like we saw where he made he was kind of in the wrong places sometimes. He gets bullied around a little bit, but then he also alters shots. His trigger was a lot quicker tonight. Not his actual shooting motion, which again is the slowest thing.
Yeah, it is
we've ever seen in the NBA. But it
shot.
doesn't matter. Like nobody's getting up to block that shot. Like he can take as long as he wants. He looked a lot more confident, but he also looked like he sort of knew that these were the minutes he was going to get, and so he needed the sun was shining, so he needed to make hay, and hay he made. So, but I mean, I agree with you. That lineup that came out that you immediately started cackling about, also like because it was just something we all just wanted to see. It kind of worked. It didn't work. I mean, everything worked against the Blazers tonight. Like, what does it actually mean?
We talked about what does preseason mean, and like we can't take. I don't know if the Nuggets are going to win by 30 every night, although it's on the table. But watch the body language between the Nuggets, and you get in that fourth quarter, and it's the third string. Everybody's up on the court. Everybody's going crazy. Everybody wants to see everybody. And it's been that way for years. I think that's a real true. I put this actually on the list, and hopefully you're subscribed. If you subscribe to DNVR after games, you get the list where I break down the film. And this is one of the film things I put in. It's nothing about basketball. After the first basket of last game, Michael Malone walked down the bench line and was doing this to the guys. And it's basically his way of saying, hey, there's no crowd here. We're the crowd, and you have to you have to be both the player and the crazy fans all at once. And like it pays off because you watch that Portland team tonight. CJ McCollum was throwing a fit on the court. Carmelo Anthony gets ejected. Like they all look like they were having the worst season. It's preseason, but the vibe with Portland doesn't look good to me.
No, nothing made me more like gave me more of a feeling of longing to want to be back in the stands than when Carmelo Anthony got ejected. Like what that would have meant to me in the oh my god.
Carmelo Anthony's still winless. It's been 10 years. He still hasn't won in Denver. It's the
decade.
We really only have 1 or 2 more years to do this and then we could I'm fingers crossed. But Dev, Bol Bol, one thing I want to say about him, he alters a lot of shots. I don't know if he recorded a block shot tonight or not. Let's see here. Yeah, they didn't give him credit for any block shots, but I feel like he altered 5.
For sure.
Because he's especially jumpers. These are mostly jumpers that a guy shoots, he gets the hand up, and they end up shooting it with way too much arc.
One of the things that I think was so great about Bol Bol, I think it was opposite. I think him getting those first quarter minutes, I think that he came in a lot more just involved. I think that he was a lot happier.
Yeah,
I feel that breeze. But yeah, Bobo's he's active tonight. He's doing everything that he could. I feel like he's a player that you just go out there and say, just do whatever you want tonight, and we'll make it a way around you. He has suction cup arms. He's grabbing rebounds. You have no idea how he can even get to the rebounds. He had that alley-oop finish. Yeah. That was incredible. He's altering every single shot, and that's what they're going to need him to be best at.
Who he guarded tonight? Melo. Yeah, Melo actually, I think, got ejected when he's guarding him, and he's like, he's fouling me. But it's like, dude, Bol Bol, I mean, I'm just so intrigued by that skill set. I mean, he has a lot, like Michael Porter. He doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like he's got a lot to learn.
He's just out there, just play.
Also,
play your game.
But also like Michael Porter, he's so good that it's like even when he screws up, he's good. So
I also like how Bol, when he was guarding Melo just like forced himself to shoot it every single time down.
Oh yeah.
He was like, all right, I got this guy. I'm going to shoot it. And went like 1
I
of
can't
5.
read that small of
It's a new term, air ball. An air ball caused by the fear of Bol Bol's massive wingspan.
Mark it down. Put in Sharpie.
Dude, you got it. We're done. We got to credit you. This is fantastic. An air ball. It doesn't have to be an air ball. Just any brick, any brick that is caused by Bol. Harrison, welcome to the set, man.
Good to be back up here.
Oh, baby.
I feel like we're not ourselves when we're not in the lounge.
I feel like it's like a beautiful set. Somebody downstairs somebody was making fun of us saying that we look like
the Last Supper.
The Last Supper, Da Vinci's Last Supper. I think technically makes me Jesus.
It does technically. I'm not sure which one of us is Judas. It's probably
It's vote.
gotta
No,
be.
technically, I was curious myself which one it would be.
I
and it
feel
was
like we're
vote.
sitting at a table at a wedding.
Yeah,
We're the wedding
yeah,
party
totally.
at a table just
We should
in
just,
front of everyone.
Ting, 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 ting. Make everyone, as soon as you start clinking on the glasses, everyone has to give a hot
But
take.
up here in the winners lounge, man, we're just
Oh,
like, this is like
sweet
our
baby.
home. This is like our house. It's
I
like
feel
all of our home.
comfortable, right? Like I think I might take my shoes off. Hold
So
on.
Harrison, we've talked. We have a lot to get to still, so don't feel
Oh,
like you
good.
missed out too much. But I am curious what the vibe was like in the post game presser. And let's start as always with Michael Malone.
So if you guys remember, I was saying how ecstatic he was after the last game. Like he was joking around, wanting to answer more questions. Not as happy.
What?
Not as happy tonight.
Well, Malone has a style.
Yeah, not as happy tonight.
Malone
Like
has
if
a
he was
style.
at a 10 2 nights ago, I'd say he was at a 5 or a 6 tonight. The starting lineup, probably the biggest story of the first half. I asked him, like, is that his 5? Is that the 5 he's going with opening night? Didn't expect him to answer, and he pretty much said, no, I'm not going to answer that. Still thinking about it.
Wow.
So
What, did you say who's in your fave 5?
maybe if I said that, he would have given me an answer. So, yeah, we don't know what the starting lineup is. It could be the one we saw tonight.
Turns out it doesn't matter though, right? Doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter. It might not matter in for like a win-loss standpoint
That's
in
all
the
I
regular
care. Yeah,
season.
that's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
I think there are a lot of other reasons that it matters, though.
True. Fair point.
So yeah, we'll see how about that. He said, "quote I wanted to give Will a chance to play with the starting 5 and get a look at that." So non-committal on that. Did you guys see this quote that Michael Porter Jr. had to Chris Dempsey? We didn't talk with MPJ, but apparently Altitude Sports Radio did. MPJ said, "quote I'm willing to do whatever. I just want to do my job."
I mean, I would have to see the context with which this was relayed.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this before. Right from the jump, Michael Porter was on his feet, cheering dudes on. He gets in the game, he plays
Right.
hard. There was no pouting. He looked great. So I understand the long-term concerns of it all, but to me, my thoughts are let's let this play out before we panic. Like let's wait till things go south before we start to get upset about it.
I don't have to see how it was used. If Michael Porter Jr. feels it, he's going to say it. That's the one player that is going to say it. He does not care.
He does speak his mind.
He says exactly what he feels. So I think that I would just believe whatever he said. If he really says that he doesn't care, I believe it, because if he cared, he would have said it just like Will did.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, we'll see. Malone says that he loves how Isaiah and Facu are fitting in. Talked about those two guys specifically.
Facu fitting in by fouling. I mean, tonight he was on the court for 3 seconds before he fouled out.
He says that
You can call
Facu is
me
an
Facu.
extension of himself on the floor.
Well, first of all, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Look, man, I've told you this. I want to ask Michael Malone, like, what he sees, like, what point guards remind him of himself most, because I know that
Oh, yeah,
Facu
he's a
is like,
Facu.
I know he's Facu.
Yo, Facu's an extension of
This is,
myself.
by the way, I've said
You
this
can call
before.
me
This is
Facu.
why
Oh, God.
I, was so drawn to Jokic early on, is because I was like, he's obviously a million times better. I'm just saying relative to the level I played at, he played at, I was always like, I'm big to like the pass, play from the post, this or that. So I was gravitated to him the first time I saw him because I'm like, yo, this dude plays like me.
In a similar vein, this is why I gravitate towards Joe Harris.
Because of the hair, he's got the wavy, like the hair, he looks just like him. Dev, big Derrick Rose fan.
Yeah,
So
who
you,
am I?
you know,
I'm sort of a Glenn Big Baby.
That's a good one, though. He's good. He's the Wingstop guy.
be honest, that's
my
why you
guy.
like Derrick Rose, isn't it?
I just like Derrick Rose. I doesn't like Derrick Rose.
All right, what else we got, Harrison?
So, I mean, I think a huge storyline from tonight and from this preseason, we heard them say at Media Day, we want to shoot more threes. They're shooting more threes in at least 2 of these games. It wasn't really evident in the opener, but 44 threes tonight. Like, that's wild.
Kale, put this the Oso plug.
The greatest
That's a
comment,
great
the
comment.
most,
We have to
the
see
most
it, man.
apt comment of all time.
It really
It says,
is.
wow, Mara's calling himself both Jesus and Jokic in the same winners.
I'm
line.
feeling myself,
They're
baby.
in the same
I'm
winners line
feeling myself.
within minutes of
I'm feeling it, baby.
That was crazy. I'm feeling it. Now that someone else knows it.
Going for the MVP this year.
baller.
Boys, going for the MVP.
most valuable person,
If anyone,
most valuable prophet.
Jesus and Jokic tonight, it is.
No, he's sucking up. Get out of here, Kale.
Hey.
He's sucking up.
That's what I'm talking about, Kale. That's what I'm talking
It's
about.
unbelievable.
This is great. I love being here, man. DNVR has been great to me.
All right, what do we keep? let's keep going. Who else spoke?
Well, I'm just saying, like on the 3-point shooting, it's
Oh, yeah.
obviously
Oh,
been
yeah.
a point of emphasis, but it's carrying over to the games. Monte Morris said, like the coaching staff has been stressing when you're in the corner, always be ready to shoot it. Like a lot of those times, guys would get in the corner last year. Maybe they're driving, maybe they're just swinging it around. There's been a lot of stress put on. If you're in the corner, just shoot it. And I mean, it's carrying over to games.
Come on, man. Like, that's not what the difference is.
Yeah, it's not.
I love when coaches say stuff like that. You
Well,
know,
I would love to know, like, why, like, what has to click, for players to shoot those shots instead of, passing them up.
Again, being different people helps.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, man. Is like,
Nugs with a lot of Adam Love right now.
The
oh
song-
yeah, oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
Fergie. All right.
Fergie and Jesus. Fergie and Jesus.
All right, you know what? I will allow.
I think
I will allow
you very literally just described the Black Eyed Peas.
But I think one adjustment that they have done, and I mean, I don't have like a good sense of how big of a change this is, but somebody, Monte Morris said, is always in the corner now.
Yeah. So this is the spacing of the geometry of the court.
They're making sure to
Interesting.
always have somebody in the corner to be that outlet.
I haven't noticed this as much, so much so far, but I mean,
Yeah,
that's
let's go
something to
back
keep an
and
eye on.
look.
Something to keep an eye on. Yeah.
We were talking about this tonight, the Monte Morris Isaiah Hartenstein connection.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The chemistry is great. Obviously, we know those two played together in the G League a couple years ago. Monte said he knows where I like the ball. He knows where I like screens. I know where his spots are on the floor. So, I mean, those two just seamless.
Hartenstein might be the biggest winner to me of the preseason. Like 3 games in, I don't know if I want to say I think I'll say it. I'm all in on Hartenstein. I think he's,
Nice.
Me too.
I mean, I think I'm all in as him as a backup center.
Yep.
Like
What did you set that over under at? 33 games?
Yeah, he's going to play 72 games. So you have to understand, we did these player preview. Everything in the offseason, the draft was 2 weeks ago. Like everything was so condensed. We filmed some of those like 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago, and they haven't all aged great. But to our credit, last time we saw Hartenstein, he was playing against the Sioux Falls Skyforce. You know, like so. This was easy to see. But the 2-man game, there have been a handful of Monte Morris, Isaiah Hartenstein give and goes in this. In fact, we were joking today as we watched it because now that we have 3 games, we see the chemistry. They have a little nod. They have a little bit of a, you ready for that thing? Like, all right, go, backdoor, wide open layup. And it's cool to see, man. That's a real duo.
Hartenstein's passing is also way better than I thought it would be. He's getting it on that short roll and just like finding guys in the corner, finding guys on the wing. I didn't know he was that type of passer, but
Can we share a good laugh here? Because I saw when we were going into the offseason a name that kept popping up for who Nuggets fans wanted Denver to go after for backup center.
Tristan Thompson?
Well, him too. Harry Giles. And can I tell you something?
What?
Isaiah Hartenstein bullied Harry Giles tonight. Like
You saw people clamoring for Harry Giles.
well, Harry Giles, a former #1 recruit. Like he had.
Yeah, but we've seen him play in the NBA, and he's not good.
Well, I think a lot of people just thought Sacramento was ruining him or something, and that's a fair take. Oftentimes,
they
that's
do
true.
that with the big men too.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a fair point. But really,
But
Harry
yeah,
Giles.
it's nobody was clamoring for Isaiah Hartenstein. Like literally, I never saw that name pop up as a guy people should go after. And tonight, he bullied him. What else?
Yeah.
What else from the pressers?
We know Nikola is in like amazing shape right now. He's been incredible this preseason. Looks ready to go. Monte Morris said that Nikola was in the weight room post game when he was talking, and quote, "He's one of the hardest working guys I've ever been around."
Who said this?
Monte Morris.
What? Nikola Jokic is one of the
Nikola
hardest.
freaking Jokic.
We need to take a minute here. Hold on.
Culture,
baby.
They
got him.
picked- I don't know what they did in this offseason, but they were around.
Go ahead and make that graphic, Kale.
Yo,
They
Nikola
went around some
Jokic, one of
contender,
the
and they're
hardest
just like,
working
hey.
guys I've ever been around.
that one
Monte
hit. That
Morris.
one zinged me right in the heart.
You like that one?
I like that one. I'm gonna be quiet for a few minutes here.
Dude,
I
I'm
don't know
telling
my
you, like
thoughts.
we've joked about Joker looking like getting a 6-pack, starting to look like Plumlee or
Joker
something.
got a
Like
little 4-pack.
kind of halfway there. Like he's already lost all the weight. I wouldn't be surprised if a year or two from now we see the like 6-pack Joker and we're just all like, wait, what happened here? Like it could happen.
What is this?
Yeah. What else?
So we also got to talk to Bull tonight. We talked to Paul Millsap for a little tonight. I asked Paul, with kind of the added personnel, Hartenstein for Plumlee, Facu in there, Torrey Craig out of there, how good this offense can be. Paul said, the sky's the limit for us, always has been. We can move from the 5th best offense to number 1 easily if we push the ball a little more,
In the
Oh,
history
I
get
love
more
that.
fast break points, and just be us.
I wonder how many fast break points they had tonight. I don't know if that's up yet, but yeah, they have been running a lot.
Especially that second unit.
Yeah.
Second unit's been pushing it.
So they're only credited with 15 fast break points tonight, but it is. I put this on the list as well. They're pushing the ball in transition and getting secondary breaks, meaning they beat the defense down the court. Defense is mismatched, and then they score off of that mismatch or off of something that they did early. It doesn't count as a fast break, but it really is.
Yeah. We also talked to Bull. I asked him about going up against Melo because I just thought that was so fascinating. He said that Melo was one of his favorite players growing up, his favorite Nuggets player growing up. So that was really cool for him.
It was good to embarrass one of his favorite players growing up. It's awesome.
He also said that coaches are telling him not to be shy to shoot it from 3 and to shoot it when he's open. He was asked about what he feels his role is, just to keep working hard and wait for my time whenever that is.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
that sounds like he's not going to be playing for a little while, right?
You want to pull up the ad copy, Harrison? Because otherwise I have to do it.
Can I just say, like, the one thing that I'm a little upset about with these last 2 games is that there's been so many positives from the Nuggets. We've had absolutely no time to slander any of the Blazers. There's so many slanderable players from the Blazers. We can't even get there.
I
There's
almost
just too
feel
much
bad
good.
for the Blazers. Like, they honestly just look. It's preseason, man. This happens, and they're a team that's been there, done that. Most of the guys. So, like, I don't think for them it means too much, other than their defense looks absolutely atrocious.
We can't talk about how terrible Nurkic looks. We can't talk about what a dirty player CJ McCollum is. We can't talk about what a joke Carmelo Anthony has been. None of it.
We can't talk about that.
I think we just did, but there's too many positive things.
There
for the
are. We
Nuggets.
have like 20 other positive things we have to get
We
to.
haven't even talked about Facu. None of it. It's
I don't even know if we're
ridiculous.
going to get to rate the highlight tonight, to be
Oh,
honest with you. We have too
God.
many other, but we haven't even got to Zeke Naji, who's quickly becoming my favorite player. So let's take our last break here, and then on the other side, we're gonna have to lightning round all these other dudes.
Yeah, let's do it. It feels like just yesterday that a certain basketball team won the NBA championship.
You got to work on tailoring that read, man. We got to. In my mind, I never go there. I always just skip that part.
Lucky
Say
for
the
us
Nuggets
sports
are back.
fans, DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is here to kick off the NBA season with a no-brainer for all customers, new and existing. To celebrate the return to basketball, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you a plus 75 point spread on the team of your choice on opening night. For real, guys, this is a free $25.
Yep.
It's absolutely a free $25.
And you learn a lot about yourself. You have 4 options, and they're all an automatic winner. And then you decide.
Oh, I was not going to take the Lakers. Yeah, there's no way I was going to win money with the
I ended
Lakers.
up going. I bet on the Nets.
Me too, because they're first.
Yeah, they're first, so you can
Yeah.
get the money the quickest.
Yeah, that's right.
what I
Yeah.
did too.
Smart. That is smart.
Make sure to download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR when you sign up to get a plus 75 point spread on opening night. For a shot to double your money, that's code DNVR to get a shot at doubling your money on opening night for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Also, guys, Mike and Virginia Chevalier. They're diehard Broncos fans.
Chevalier.
Oh, superstar
Ooh.
Shove.
That's smooth.
We should start calling him that. Superstar chef.
Mike and Virginia, guys, they are part of the DNVR fam. They're DNVR members. They've supported us for a long time. They're a husband and wife team with over 15 years of financial services experience. You're probably hearing how great mortgage rates are right now, but Mike and Virginia are not just your typical mortgage company. They have phenomenal rates, but what really makes them different is that Mike is a certified financial planner and looks at so much more than just a rate when designing your home loan. So hit these guys up today. They're awesome. DNVRmortgage.com. Buying a house, as we know, is like a ridiculous process. Way too complicated for me just to handle on my own. I know if I was buying a house.
Most
So.
things are.
DNVRmortgage.com. Check them out. Get set up with a consultation. You can enter to win a free DNVR shirt or hat. We also got to knock out the DraftKings pick of the week. Which,
You got it?
I don't have it. I was hoping D-Line had it.
Let's see the pick of the week.
The DraftKings pick of the week. The lock of the week.
You know what I would go with is that 71 point.
The 75 point.
The 75 points that they're giving to you on opening night. That feels like a good pick for the week. Yeah, I haven't really. Let me get back to you.
All right, we might have
The
to do that at
Jokic
the end.
MVP. What are
No,
the
we're
odds
doing
for
next
Jokic
week.
MVP?
Next week. Don't ruin that. Don't ruin that.
Yeah,
That's next
let
week.
me find pick of the week.
You can get back to us on pick of the week. Let's keep this moving, guys. Gary Harris tonight. We mentioned when he's not good offensively. I think he's always good defensively. Tonight, 5 of 8 from the floor. He goes 2 of 5 from the 3-point line. Looked a lot better. He gets for 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. Encouraging game, I think, from Gary Harris tonight. I'll go to you, Deb.
And he's still playing defense. Like, that's what you
course.
expect from Gary Harris. Instead of trying to gauge how good of a game that he's having based off of his scoring, don't look at the scoreboard.
Right.
Think about how he held somebody down for a certain amount of points, or how he's out there stripping everything, or how the defense is moving around him. Because right now he's looking like the anchor, and then he has Millsap next to him. So Gary Harris is getting his confidence back. The shots are starting to fall. He's getting out on the break. Gary Harris is going to be Gary Harris. So I think that it was a promising game for him.
Yo, he looked healthy. He looked like he was back. I mean, his shot still wasn't falling. I'm not sure if he said
No,
that.
yeah, he did shot. It did fall. 5 of 8
little-
tonight.
2
2
of
of 5.
5.
Well, no.
That's
His
40%.
was 3-point. I mean,
2 of 5 is 40%.
it started off. I should say it started off a little
Yeah,
rocky.
he knocked a couple down.
Then he started to slash. We started to see that classic Gary Harris body control around the rim. Like,
Right.
He was making, very. I mean, not quite acrobatic, but like just under control, going up under the rim and reversing, like vintage Gary. Like
That
that's
left
everything you
hand
want to
finish
see.
was acrobatic.
Yeah.
That was
Absolutely.
incredible.
Well, he was 3 of 3 from 2-point range.
Right.
And all 3 of those were nice finishes at the rim.
Yeah.
So I mean, 3 games in, he hasn't taken a floater yet.
3 other guys
Promising.
I want to get to. RJ Hampton, we didn't see him last game. He gets back out there. He goes 2 of 7, so shooting not so great, but I actually thought he did a lot of things well tonight. He had some nice passes. He did knock down a 3-pointer that looked really pretty. We know he's been working with Mike Miller. The shot from the corner looked, I thought, really strong. And just his quickness, man, and his explosiveness. Like, he's out there. We saw this in the Australian League. We saw this a little bit with Clipser. That he's out there now with the NBA guys playing games where everybody's trying, and he still looks at a whole other level from a speed, and in particular from a 0 to 60 speed. Like we saw, it was on full
0 to
display
100
tonight.
real quick.
0 to 100 super quick. So I was impressed. Does anybody have any RJ Hampton notes? Because I was very impressed with him tonight.
Not only did he hit that one 3-pointer, there was another 3-pointer that he knocked down in the game, but Hartenstein got the charge on the
Oh,
Right, in
that's
the
right.
corner.
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
hit
another one in
another
the corner.
3-pointer, and it looks more smooth. You can tell that he's working with Mike Miller with the mechanics. Like, the shot looks completely
point, yeah.
different, and it's falling. So, I mean, he got credited with 1 3, but he hit both of them. And he's, like you said, he's way faster, way more athletic than everyone else on the court.
Yeah.
It's Jamal Murray said he's always cutting, even when he's not supposed to. But tonight he had a great cut for a bucket, so a good
Yeah.
slash.
I mean, I think the biggest note with RJ Hampton is that he looks like a rookie, but he looks like a good rookie, and he's just, there's so many other players that you can get excited about that, like, in years past, if we would have seen the production or what RJ Hampton was putting on the court, we would have been over the moon. Like, I can't wait to see more of this guy. And like, he just
Yeah,
gets
like if
so,
Hampton was the only young guy on
Right.
this team.
No.
Yeah.
Moutier. Like, honestly, Moutier and RJ Hampton probably at least close skill wise or to where they are right now. But think about Moutier, who was the starting point guard on night 1,
right,
and the pressure and now we're judging the guy and we have to speed up the process versus RJ Hampton, who we're not going to see him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever going to cost the Nuggets a game because he's not going to be in position to cost them a game. So it's a completely different opportunity for RJ Hampton in the best possible way. The other guys, Zeke Naji, man, and he's my guy now. 3 of 6 from the floor tonight, 7. He gets 1 of 2 3-pointers, but that mid-ranger. I actually texted somebody tonight with the team because I was just like, Zeke Naji or Big Tom. You have to mid-range jump shooting contest. Who you taking? So I thought it was kind of funny because Zeke Naji right now, when he gets a free throw line jumper, it's in. I'm counting it.
100%.
I actually got shocked when you just said that he missed. It feels like he has not missed in multiple games.
Yeah.
Every shot is perfect. He's knocking down the mid range. He damn sure is spacing the floor and hitting the 3 ball. And like he's been saying every single game, it's just, he knows where to be on the floor every single time. He comes in, he plays small minutes, but it seems like his impact is so big that when he actually does start playing and getting those minutes, we're not thinking of him as just a rookie. We're thinking of him as another player that could help the Nuggets.
Legitimately looks like a vet out there.
He had another block tonight too.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, another block. He had that. It was a great block too. It was he almost got dunked on by Gary Trent Jr., but turned it into a block. I'm really high on him. He's another guy though, where I mean, he's also I don't think going to play.
People are calling him Zicola.
Piano man.
Piano man. He's
piano man. Get out of here, Zicola. He's piano man.
He's piano man.
But he's another one where, like, if he had to play this year, you know, he'd probably have some ups and downs and this or that. But like the fact that he does get that slow development to do the things the right way, I think it's going to pay off.
If he's got to play in a 7 type of game,
right?
You're cool with it.
The last guy we got to throw some love to is our guy Vlatko. Stat line doesn't pop off. 12 minutes, he gets 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, I believe. Yeah. The new NBA.com site, man, sucks. I'm so pissed. I can't ever tell what stat
generally
I'm looking at.
just infuriating.
It is. It's just made it. Everything was 1%. We're
the
not
only
a lot.
bad
Just a
part
little
about
bit.
this season, so
It
far.
is the only bad thing. Come on, NBA, get your act together, man. We're trying to obsess about you. Help us become obsessive. But Vlatko tonight, man, he looked strong. He was battling with some big, like he's playing big. I mean, he really is, and he just like Cantor. I kept talking about how strong Cantor is. Like he doesn't look like he's ripped, but he somehow pushes everyone around.
Yeah,
and Vlatko's able to give it right back to him. So.
Take a freaking look at this.
Vlatko came into the league as a 3, and somehow he's now a 5.
Yeah, he is.
He's like a third string center, and
mobility.
maybe the strongest dude on the team.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for the game portion of the show? You guys ready to gamify this?
Let's do it.
We're gonna
gamer.
Or a gamer, step up your game here because we're gonna play a little either or.
Oh,
love it.
Either or. Okay, do we have a graphic? Did we get that one?
Oh.
Either or. Look at this.
Vote left out in the rain.
Look at Vote. He's so sad. Oh, all the way out in Jersey.
You can get with this or you can get with that, but not with Vote.
What has been more impressive in the preseason, the Denver Nuggets offense or the Denver Nuggets defense? Eric, I'll start with you.
The offense. It's been the offense. The defense has been
Two Munders.
very. I know, but I think that has more to do with the fact that the Portland Trailblazers were completely demoralized going into the second half. Like Dame didn't even play.
They were so demoralized.
They got blown out from the jump. This game, it was not close. We were up by 20 points.
I've got a theory on that.
Oh, so I feel like the offense was so just dominant that it just took the wind out of the sails of the lowly, loathable Portland Trailblazers. They had nothing to offer, and you know I do think we saw a little zone in there. When it started off early, like the Nuggets just stripped the ball away from the Trailblazers. I think like the first 8 possessions in a row, very impressive. But if you're talking about wall to wall, what has been impressive? I mean, just again that every single player on the Denver Nuggets is not only capable but is good.
Yeah.
Facts. I'll say the offense. I just think there's it's much more likely the offense is for real than the defense is for real.
Why?
And just my read on the personnel coming into the season.
No. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Because of your perception of the fact that they lost Torrey Craig, Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee. That's why, right? I'm not. It's not because of anything you saw that's like, oh, this.
And I mean, they weren't even a top 10 defense last year.
Sure.
Yeah. So I just like don't project them to be an elite defense, but I do project them to be an elite offense. Yeah, the 3-point shooting, the pace. I think this
Pace
team
is big, man.
It's tough to call a top 5 offense a sleeping giant, but just with some philosophical changes, with some personnel changes, this offense could go up to another level. I really do believe that.
Offense or defense, Dev?
I'm going to say offense. The reason I'm going to say offense is because, first off, it was a top 5 offense that we seen from last year.
Yeah.
And they seem to have gotten better somehow. I mean, it's the preseason, but the offense is flowing. Also, when Malone comes out and says something as a joke, he usually goes opposite of it. This year, he's just like, I'm all in on the offense. I'm an offensive coach. And he joked about it, but we know he still wants the defense to go, and it's going still. But he really has been, like, forcing them to take more shots. Harrison came in and he talked about them deliberately putting a man in the corner, and that just providing more spacing. It seems like they knew that their offense was already good, but they found a way to elevate it a bit more. So I think that's more impressive.
I'm going to go against the grain. I honestly and sincerely think it's the defense, and I'm just going to put this out there. Look, the offense I thought was going to be good, and it was. And they've shot the ball a little bit better than I anticipated. Like, guys have kind of, Millsap tonight.
40 points a game. It's pretty good.
Yeah, but they held 2 unders, which is not a common thing to hold a team under 100 points.
Comments agree with you, Adam. Everybody was really impressed with the defense.
Everybody talked about this Nuggets team's better go all offense, baby, because they're not going to stop anybody. And look, Portland might just be bad. I mean, who knows? This or that.
First off, and there's plenty of comments that don't agree with Adam. Kale, get out of here.
You know what, Kale? Don't listen to him. No, but
the problem for you, Kale, is that I also have access to these comments.
But I'm being serious here, though, guys. This is going to say every time you say anything about Jeremy Grant or those guys, people say, "Oh, sour grapes," this or that. Nuggets were horrible defensively with Jeremy Grant on the court last year in the regular season. Even in the playoffs, they were but not good with him on the court. Like the defense, so this or that. So, and then Torrey Craig, same thing. Yeah. Mason Plumlee, same thing. And so people would always point to those guys and say, "Yeah, they weren't good, but you go up against this guy and Torrey Craig, that's when he really steps in." And I'm not trying to slander those guys. Like they did a lot of good things for the Nuggets. What I am saying though is that there's a lot of markers, objective markers, not eyeball markers, but objective marker, but statistical markers that say those guys actually were pretty overrated as defensive players. And I'm not saying that definitively that is true of Denver, but I am saying that you lose those 2 guys and your defense looks phenomenal. Everybody's on a string. People are dialed in. And maybe, I'm just saying, just maybe those guys, the loss, even everybody always hedges it by saying, I think in the regular season they'll be fine. But in the playoffs, they need that guy that's going to shut down. And maybe that's true. But I'm just saying, I'm not convinced it's true.
I feel like this is let this be let tonight be the last night we mention the name Jeremy Grant.
No, it won't
let
be.
Tonight be
it won't be. But I will say,
Craig.
You know who I think kind of agrees with me based on the podcast that he did yesterday with Kevin Arnovitz is Zach Lowe, who talked about the loss of Jeremy Grant being completely overrated and doesn't think it's a big deal. First unit. All right. What's been more impressive? Either or. First unit or second/third unit, meaning the starters or everybody else. Harrison.
I'll say everybody else. I think the starters are going to be dominant, like just as they've always been. But the second unit, again, I don't know how they're going to defend, but they're definitely going to score. Just the playmaking on that unit, the pace at which they're playing with, the confidence. I think the bench is better than it was last year. I think it is.
What do you think?
I think the second, third unit. I think it's just so many unknown commodities on the second and third unit. Players that really haven't done anything in the league, but they look like they're having fun. They look like they're buying in. They look like they're playing offense and defense. The culture, they're buying into the culture already. They're blowing teams out, and there's not like I'll say a year or two ago when they go up big in the game, you're like, okay, well they're going to come back and then it's going to be a good game and things like that. But you don't think that. You're still having fun with this group, the second and third unit. You're still having guys that could come in after the second and third unit, and you're like, this is still fun. There's players coming from out the country. There's players they're coming from the G League. There's so much in the second and third unit that it makes it really fun. Also, we don't even know who the real starters are. There's still
That's true.
There's still that entity that makes it fun. Like, okay, well now there's somebody that should be a starter that's with the second unit. That's still fun.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I think what we've seen from the starters, just the fact that they have been so quietly dominant they have put the Trailblazers to bed at such an early hour that then
they did.
That then
they tucked them in nice and tight, nice and early. Bedtime story by 6 p.m.
Yeah, right. That then I mean, you want to talk about we don't know who the starters are. Like, I have no clue who the actual second unit is. Like, I just know that there is a huge group of players that they seemingly can throw any combination out. And again, they're going up against a completely demoralized Portland Trailblazers at that point. So who knows if this is really how dominant they are. But just the fact that Nikola Jokic goes out in such a blasé fashion and just looks like potentially the best player in the world. Jamal Murray not even trying, doesn't have to, but when he wants to, just casually hit shots. Everybody, like the starting unit looks so good that they just turned it off. They I don't know. I don't know who to be impressed by. Like, I'm just impressed by every single player on the Denver Nuggets.
I think I'm second, third unit as well. And I think, Dev, you had the great point there that last year Denver starters would get off to a lot of 6-7 point leads, which in a first quarter in the first inning is really impressive. Bench comes in and then they blow it all up and this or that. This last 2 games, it really has felt like the starters get a 7-8 point lead. Tonight it was like 11
They
point
got a
lead.
20-point lead.
No, but then the bench came in and you start to stagger and bring guys in. And by the time the second unit is done with their full stint and the starters come back in, the game's over. So if you can maintain that, and it is just waves, then this is going to be a great year. And I kind of think that Denver will be able to maintain
They're
it.
just so deep. They're so freaking way deeper than last year.
Yeah.
Way deeper than last year. I think Malone said we probably have 7 guys who could be starters in this league. They probably have what, like 11 or 12?
More than that.
13 who could be
In a
rotation,
rotation,
guys
yep.
on a really good team.
I think
they're
more,
really
yeah.
deep.
All right, Facu or Composure? I'll start with you on this one, Dev, because those guys might be battling for minutes. I don't
You
know.
can call me Facu.
That's just a tough question to ask on first. I just feel like I'm gonna be attacked no matter what. It
Probably
depends.
by me. Most of
It depends
yeah.
what you want. If you need a spark off the bench, someone that's gonna get the crowd going, someone that's gonna get everybody like fired up, I think you put Facu in the game. Just because of everything that he brings, he's gonna pass the ball, he's gonna play hard-nosed defense, he's gonna get his charges, he's gonna be everywhere on the floor. But if you say that you're in a rotational time where it's like close to the playoffs or you're in the playoffs, you need somebody that's going to be close to Jamal or just be able to give you those minutes that Jamal like can't give you or he needs a break. And that's when you bring in Composure, just because everything is still calm when he's on the floor. So I'll go with PJ right now.
They've both been so impressive. I mean,
know.
PJ's looked just like we expected him to,
Yeah,
I think.
he really has.
If this 3-point shooting is for real, that probably changes everything with him. But Facu has been every bit as advertised. Also, he is exactly the type of guy I thought Denver was getting, just based on watching his film, how the Nuggets talked about him. Everything that people said about Facu has shown up.
Yeah.
The disruptive defense,
Yeah.
how he moves the ball, his IQ, his vision, just his intensity. It's all been there.
Another thing people have told us, Nuggets people have told us coming into the season was that Facu's defense is incredible, but he's going to foul a lot early as he adjusts to what is and isn't a foul in the
Sure
NBA
did.
level. True. They were right.
Sure did.
But I actually do agree that like some of the stuff he's getting, I think he just has to learn like, yeah, that's not going to be allowed, but it's not like he can't not foul.
It is, I mean, that is like the really underrated part of the season is that imagine the fervor that would course through Ball Arena when Facu checks in and like throws some ridiculous pass, some Argentinian slinger into the post. Like the things Facu has done have been much more impressive. The things that PJ Dozier has done have been much more bankable and much more like he's just helped to choke the will out of the Portland Trailblazers, whereas Facu has come in and electrocuted the non-existent crowd. So, I mean, Composure's been it, man.
Yeah. Last one, and this one's a little unfair, but Najee or Bull.
Ooh,
Those
that
guys,
isn't
I don't
fair.
know if they're competing for minutes. Maybe they are, but they've been impressive in different ways. Eric, you got to go first on this one again.
It's for me. It's Najee. For me, it's not. Bull has done what Bull does. Like he shoots circus shots. They go in. He stretches
True.
the floor in a way that like doesn't really make sense. Like he makes Carmelo Anthony foul out, or not foul out, get ejected in a preseason game because he's so frustrated, which is incredible. But he also like makes a lot of like, head scratching plays and like plays where you're like, dude, come on, you're 7'10" or whatever you are. Like you can't get beat or you can't not get that rebound or whatever.
Yeah.
Zeke Naji just is as solid as they come. Like his jumper could not be more wet. He does not in any way look like a rookie out there. I imagine Bull would probably get the nod for more playing time just because of seniority. But I've just been so impressed by Zeke Naji.
I think that Bull is a phenom, so I think that we kind of judge him a little bit different.
Yeah.
a great point.
I think that is just a little bit harder for him because whenever he does something, it's highlighted in a different way.
Yeah, you can't take your eyes off Bol.
Yeah, and then if he
It's
does make a
impossible.
mistake,
Literally can't.
if he makes a mistake, you're like, okay, but you're 7'6", you're 7'8", you're 7. You make up these
7'12".
numbers about how tall you really is and things like that when
He
he
is
makes a
8'10",
mistake. But
yeah.
if Najee makes that mistake, you're not saying the same thing. And then also, Bobo's doing the same thing that Najee's doing. He's spacing the floor. He's blocking everything, and that's while being so tall. He's able to guard Carmelo Anthony. How are you able to do that at that type of height? And then you're also able to protect the rim. You're grabbing all these type of rebounds. And then also the ceiling is just going to be higher. When Bobo's at his best and Najee's at his best, it's going to be Bobo. We just got to see if they both reach that ceiling.
It would be Najee for me. And I have like no expectations for any rookies this season with no summer league, the shortened training camp, everything. But he's just seems like he fits in. It doesn't seem like the game's too fast for him. He just seems like he plays winning basketball. Yeah. And I was not expecting that, especially from a first-year guy.
I think Dev once again hit the nail on the head on this. In that bowl, we grade him a little bit differently because the stuff he does well is just like so incredible and so insane, and the stuff he does poorly is like really like, oh, bowl, come on, man, like don't get pushed out of the way again or this or that. So his highs are so high, his lows are so low. Najee looks to be like the opposite of that, man. He looks just solid, man. That guy just looks like he's going to do his job and be a phenomenal role player. And that shot, I just buy it. I mean, for a guy to step into his first minutes and just drain all of his shots, like that's, there's nerves, there's a little bit of excitement, there's adjustment to pace, and it doesn't matter. He's still out there looking like the guy he has been compared to so frequently, Channing Frye, and he kind of look like I see it. I would not be surprised if he was a don't leave that guy open shooter. And on top of that, he projects to be a guy that can move his feet on the perimeter defensively and bring a few other things to the table. So Channing Frye had a great career being a stretch four, who also was just solid. I think Najee projects to be a guy that can be a stretch four.
Yeah,
and be solid.
Actually, and it's been mentioned here, Zeke Najee plays the piano.
Really?
We should call him Piano Man. Cue up that outro music.
We got to do DraftKings Pick of the Week real quick.
But cue up the music anyway.
We do
DraftKings Pick of the Week. I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets to beat the Sacramento Kings.
Great pick. How did you not think of this one off the top of your head?
What's the line? -8.5?
-8.5.
Are you taking the line or the money line?
I'm taking the line. The money line, they're like -300.
Yeah, you'd have to bet a lot.
I'll take the -8.5.
Yeah,
I'll take the Nuggets.
I mean, they're coming off a back-to-back 30-point win. So, I mean, what is 8 points?
What is 8 points?
All right, that's your DraftKings
That's the DraftKings Pick of the Week.
Hey, guys, I want to, if you're watching, we think everybody that's been watching all preseason, off-season, everything, we really appreciate it. Everything starts in earnest next week, and we're going to be going live over and over again. And you guys know, it's so fun when the game's over, especially after a big win. You want to hang out. You want to talk. We want to talk with you.
You want to hang in the lounge.
We're going to be doing this all year long, hanging at the lounge, having a good time.
Winter
Friday
shots
shows,
coming back.
Winter shots are coming back, even though nobody's here. So it's going to be a great time. I also want to encourage you, if you haven't checked out our player profile series yet, those are phenomenal. I'm really proud of the work that we put in to do those. They're very entertaining. And if you become a DNVR member, you can see the bonus parts where we have the list. You got conversations with George Karl, sourced reporting from Harrison, and a whole lot more. And then also the DNVR members lounge, the hangout, our chat room. It's a Discord chat room. We call it the lounge. It's the greatest place to talk sports, Denver sports, in the world. Why? The internet sucks.
It does suck.
It does suck. It does in fact suck.
We filtered the internet
because nobody will shit where they eat, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't belong there, if you're not invested in there, like even in this chat, you see people hop in just wanting to troll, do this or that, and like there's no barrier of entry. DNVR, you become a member. People that are in there like, hey, we paid for this. We're gonna take care of it. This is our thing. So everybody has, I think, in my opinion, very high level conversation, sometimes goofy conversation. They just hang out and they don't fight, and it's really cool to see.
That's what I love about it. High level basketball takes. It's not like it's not Twitter.
If you have dumb takes, you can come in too. Just
bring them. Get educated.
A lot of good jokes.
Yeah. We added a food channel. We did not add a bathroom channel. So you're right. No one. I can't believe I just said that.
I can't believe you just said that either.
That's where you're going there.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that. We pressured Dev. He's joined. We've not actually seen a comment from him yet, but incoming, I'm sure.
It's coming. It's definitely coming before the regular season.
All right. We'll get one in there.
All right, guys. The preseason. We had the off season. The on season started. The preseason. The regular season's up next. It's on deck, baby. I can't wait. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.